Hello there. Now there's a thing. It looks like Jeremy Corbyn is giving the Tories a helping hand. Now everybody assumes that it's a foregone conclusion that Keir Starmer's Labour Party will form the next government after reducing the Tories to a pile of well-deserved rubble at the next general election. But there is one little problem with making that assumption, and that is that the next general election is still Labour's to lose. And right now an internal struggle is beginning to brew between the centre-left and hard-left within the party. And if the hard-left win, then they could see support start to melt away from the Labour Party. Now, whatever his true political leanings, Starmer appears to be intent on keeping his party planted firmly on the centre-left of politics, as near to the centre ground as possible, because that's where the votes and the election victories are usually found. And openly wandering too far from that centre ground will usually sound the death knell for any electoral success you might crave. But the hard left of the Labour Party is not happy with their party leader Keir Starmer right now, because he has stated that the darling of the left, Jeremy Corbyn, will not be allowed to stand for his party at the next general election. And Starmer went further. Now that Labour is coming out of over 2 years of special measures by the Equality and Human Rights Commission, special measures imposed because of anti-Semitism within the party under Jeremy Corbyn, Keir Starmer threw down the gauntlet and said all the changes he had made to the party were now permanent, and that if anyone wanted to go back to the old ways, then they should find a new party. And a centre-ground, business-friendly Starmer Labour Party is exactly what the hard left does not want to see. No, they want a hard left communist state run by politicians like Jeremy Corbyn and Diane Abbott. However, the electorate rejected that offering at the 2019 general election. But the hard left still wants Jeremy Corbyn to stand under the Labour banner at the next election, presumably so that he's back fully in the party fold and able to run for leader again. And the hard left is therefore expected to challenge Starmer's ruling that Corbyn won't be representing Labour in the Islington North constituency. However, Jeremy Corbyn is highly regarded in his constituency, and the bookies put him odds on to win his seat, even if he stands as an independent candidate. A very rare occurrence indeed. But he would be in good company. A Labour MP called Stephen Owen Davis was deselected before the 1970 election because his party deemed him too old to be an MP at over 80 years of age. So he stood as an independent instead, won his seat and remained in post until his death in February 1972. Oh, and he strongly opposed UK membership of the EEC, the European Economic Community. So Corbyn could easily rob Labour of a seat. Now, as I understand it, Corbyn is still a member of the Labour Party, but has had the Labour whip removed in Parliament. But that could be reinstated, so Corbyn could stand for Labour if selected. But part of the selection process would be his suitability as decided by the Labour leadership. And in a Facebook post, Corbyn said, "Keir Starmer's statement about my future is a flagrant attack on the democratic rights of Islington North Labour Party members. It's up to them, not party leaders, to decide who their candidate should be. Any attempt to block my candidacy is a denial of due process and should be opposed by anybody who believes in the value of democracy." But I think Starmer will be going by the party rulebook. And one Corbyn supporter, Diane Abbott, said, The day Starmer won leadership of the Labour Party, he described Jeremy Corbyn as a friend and a colleague. Now he wants to throw him out of the party. So this issue has the potential to cause Starmer many a headache, and it could also get a lot of his party into agitation mode, with the publicity around that having the potential to put voters off of Labour. And if the left wing of the Labour Party really feel let down, then they could feel the need to follow Starmer's instruction and leave the Labour Party. So the Corbyn conundrum could well end up assisting the Tories, because voters tend to shy away from split parties. Now, staff and students at the University of Kent have decided that using terms like Christian name is too Christian-centric, and they've even expanded that to include the terms surname and last name, all on the basis that those terms are somehow not inclusive. And you mustn't use the term last name, as that would be confusing for those cultures that place their family name first and their given name last. And so we must all start using those terms, family name and given name, not Christian name and surname, especially as surname is thought to have morphed from sire name, which is, of course, male dominance. Excellent way to foster inclusivity, isn't it? By excluding the word Christian whenever you can, and celebrate other cultural celebrations using the correct words for their religions, believers and festivals, but denying the use of the word Christian, Christmas or Easter. It's a good job we don't have a gender-based language like the French, isn't it? With their le and la. That would send the wokesters into a massive tailspin before spearing into the ground. But the truth is that the wokesters don't want diversity. They demand our compliance with their worldview. And non-compliance is not an option, or so they think. Now, for more on this Christianophobia, over to Richard.
Tell me, when was the Mayor of London ever referred to as Muslim Sadiq Khan in the press? Such identifying would be rightly perceived as potentially having prejudice by the author, and so you won't be reading such references in the British press anytime soon. No editor in their right mind who wanted to keep their job would allow it. References to politicians such as Sadiq Khan should be based upon their merits and their shortcomings, but not their faith, which, if we want to pretend we are a civilised society, is fair enough. Oh, and when was our Prime Minister ever referred to as Hindu Rishi Sunak? Nope, I can't remember that one either, and rightly so, because he may be nothing more than an unelected WEF globalist stooge, but that has nothing to do with his faith. So, with the upcoming SNP leadership election approaching, why would a respected newspaper like The Independent... sorry, did I really say respected? Oh, okay. Anyway, why would a newspaper like The Independent think it's okay to headline an article with "Search begins for new SNP leader as evangelical Christian narrowly leads race for top job"? Yes, the current front-runner for the SNP, Kate Forbes, has been categorised firstly and foremost as a Christian. I'm sorry, I don't understand why Christians are fair game for journalists and the editorial, but other religions are not. Why do we as a society tolerate such micro-prejudices towards one specific faith, Christianity, whilst others are protected from such references? Well, I think we all know the answer to that, and the answer is simple. Our society thinks it's okay to be prejudiced against Christians. But why? What is it about Christianity that everybody in the press and the left hates? The message of love thy neighbour and reconciliation with God, and that we are all equally sinners, seems to be more offensive to the liberal left media than a message that promotes, let's say, more militant approaches to one's salvation. I think you know what I'm talking about. So, for some reason, it's okay to identify and label a person as an evangelical Christian, but not as being of some other faith. Now, I know why Christians are being singled out, but why do you think that Christians are being treated so differently to other faiths in the media? Go on, you beautiful people, leave your thoughts on this in the comment section below, and I will see you tomorrow at 1 p.m, 1 p.m, 1 p.m.